Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing an EPL squad builder. Now, for this squad builder, I'm just going to be naming some players that kind of work for the team, right? In terms of what I need in each position for the 4-2-3-1, the types of players and the quality that they offer to the team, and how the team plays in general. So, right now, you guys are going to see this team as it is, right? This team as it is isn't like fully what I want it to be, right? Obviously, I think I'd like to improve the CDM area with someone like Conte and so on and so forth. Pogba maybe as the other CDM, right? Although Pogba is high medium, so I don't really know how that's going to work. But there are a lot of upgrades that can be made into the team. But in terms of money being spent and having somewhat of a meta team for a 4-2-3-1, this works out really nicely, right? So I'll explain every single situation here, right? So I basically put anchor on all of my back four because I feel like the pace, the physical, and the defensive stats is really, really important this year. So giving anchor to the entirety of the back four and the CDM area is probably the most ideal thing to do, just because it gives you a ton of upgrades for the defending, for the physical, and for the pace, right? So you can see with Ndidi over here that with the pace upgrade of a +2, it's +5, so he'll have 78 acceleration and sprint speed. So his defending is already really good. His physical is really good. I might even consider just giving him a shadow card just to make his defending that much better. But his defending is already really good, so there's really no point in me changing that. It's just more to upgrade the pace if the shadow gives him a +10 in those areas, right? Because it's nice to be able to track back really quickly. Same thing with Idrissa Gueye. The difference between Idrissa Gueye and Ndidi is that Idrissa Gueye is shorter, and that makes a huge difference, right? So with Ndidi, right, you can see that his acceleration and sprint speed is actually pretty good, taking into consideration that he is a taller player. His agility and balance is 67, and Idrissa Gueye is 76-80. So obviously moving left and right, Idrissa Gueye's center of gravity is better, but with Ndidi, if I actually want to be able to make interception and make really clutch tackles, I think Ndidi's the guy for me, right? The CDM area, people have suggested to me Eric Dyer, and I think Eric Dyer could be really good. I'm gonna actually check out his card stats right now just to see what's up with it. So Eric Dyer, see the reason why I wouldn't use Eric Dyer is because of the 65 pace. Although he's medium high and he has great stats in general, the 65 pace is far too low because there's times where my CDMs are caught out of position. And as you guys know, defensive AI is really overpowered this year. So far, this is the first patch only being fixing the side-footed shot and the regular shot, right? So with the game being as it is, it's not ideal to use someone like Dyer. Now, if I were to go get someone like Conte, right? Conte would move around the pitch really, really nicely because the thing about Conte's card, if you ever look at it, right, is that his dribbling in general and his pace together is really nice. So moving left and right with him would be fantastic. I think the card was actually improved this year too because you could see significant stat increases for passing and dribbling in general because his shooting isn't great, and obviously there's going to be times where your CDM needs to be able to score, right? So obviously in the future you want to get the legends because you want to get people that are pretty much good at doing everything. But that's something that we have to build towards in the future. But right now with Conte, you could see that he's probably the most meta CDM that exists in the EPL. I can't really think of anybody else to occupy that CDM spot that'll play it as well as he probably will. Although he's missing the height, though, so that's something that's to definitely take into consideration. There's other players like Moussa Dembele that I would definitely see if he's good for the team. I think Moussa Dembele actually has a solid card. I think he's medium high in work rates, so this is the one that I have for a loan card. And this one would probably be a significantly better player because if you see his defending stats, it's low, but if you give him a shadow card, or if you, not even necessarily a shadow, if you give him an anchor card, defensively he'll be better. His dribbling is really, really nice. Left-footed player, medium work rates will work out really nicely in this team. I actually might give him a try in this team to see how he plays, and then just go from there. The two center backs, we have Rudiger and Nathan Ake, yeah. We have Ake in the team. We give them both anchors. They've been okay for me so far. They haven't been too bad. Reason being is because they're both medium high, and that makes a big difference. So I like having the left-footed player on the right side because of people taking the inside finesse shots. So if he's a left-footed player, he'll stick out with his left foot more consistently than he will with his opposite foot. Same thing with Rudiger. I put him on the left side because he's a right-footed player. So if someone tries to go for the finesse shot, I can block that general area as well. I got Patrick Van Aanholt as a left back. People tell me that Robertson is a pretty good left back, and to be honest, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad change because with chemistry styles being as it is right now with anchor and stuff, you can see that if you were to give someone like Robertson anchor, his pace would be significantly increased because his acceleration is decent, but obviously could be better. But his sprint speed is already really good, so if you give him an anchor card, a +5/+5 would be significant to help you out in terms of certain situations. Maybe Shadow would be good too, like maybe not necessarily the physical because his aggression is already is decent, but he doesn't have any strength. But definitely a player that you can try out to see if he plays well for you in the team. He's also high work rates, and I think high work rates is going to be a preferred work rate in a lot of different situations in this game. Like right now, the way that my team is set up, I would love to have high for the fullbacks, for the left mid and the right mid, and for the striker to be probably a high-low or a high-medium, whereas the cam could be a high as well. So high is going to be the work rate that I'm definitely going to want to have in my team in order for me to kind of progressively go forward with it, right? Because when you keep them unbalanced, especially since I have getting behind on my left mid and right mid, if you have high defensive work rates, normally those players have really good stamina. So if they have good stamina, I can actually push back really nicely with them, and it would be really helpful to the team, right? So with high work rates, my Willian definitely does push back at times, but he is 5'9". I would actually, in this team, maybe try out using Rashford as the striker, possibly. Switching Vardy off to the right side and maybe have a different cam. I'm not really sure yet because, again, Road to Glory is difficult because you don't really necessarily have a full meta team, and it's really difficult to kind of figure out what you like. But in terms of these players and how they play in game, it's pretty decent for what it is, right? So with my playstyle getting in behind for the tactic, and I'll show you guys that in a bit for the 4-2-3-1 with the left mid and right mid, I need the players that have the pace, that have the shooting, the passing, and the dribbling, which Rashford, Willian, and Zaha kind of does, but someone like Willian and Rashford definitely does. Exploiting the sides in FIFA is very helpful because a lot of people will overcommit their fullbacks. So when they overcommit their fullbacks and you have balanced defensive instructions on your right wing and left wing, your right wing and left wing will come back sometimes depending on their work rates, but to get forward and get in behind someone's defense, they're going to do a really good job of it, getting in behind someone's defense on the sides. Now, you may want to have someone who's more physical up top to be able to win headers in the game because headers are very overpowered right now. I feel like there's a really huge misbalance in gameplay. If you guys haven't seen Hectic Jukes' tweets in terms of what should be patched in the game, I fully agree with him. I don't think that FIFA right now is in a state of... I don't think it's skilled right now. I think it's an incredibly casual game. I think that pay to win is going to be a huge thing for this weekend league. So if you have the better players, you're most likely going to win. Because I've honestly faced players that are really bad at this game, and all they did was cross the ball, and they would tie or win against me because of defensive AI being overpowered and because of the finishing being completely random, right? So a lot of things need to be changed for the patch. I'm not judging the game just yet because I'm only going to judge it when they do that main patch, and then we'll basically go from there. But having getting behind for the left mid and the right mid seems to be working out really nicely for me. For the cam, I tell him to come back on defense and stay on the edge of the box for the cross because I don't want to get counterattacks. It's just a play style that I have. And for the striker, I usually tell him to stay forward. Although the thing I noticed with Vardy is that with high work rates, he doesn't really make those runs forward that often because of the high work rates, right? So you would actually have to tell him to get in behind, but if you tell him to get in behind, it's a very linear way of playing, right? So that's why with Vardy I'm in a little bit of a rut because the high work rates is great to have on the sides, but not necessarily as a striker because it's nice to be able to have high-low or high-medium where the player himself makes the run. Like when I had... certain strikers that were like high medium, they would make the run themselves on balance, right? And that's better because it's not a linear way of playing where you strictly only tell your player to get in behind. So it just kind of like works out better when you have the right work rates. But yeah, I think high is going to be used a lot for different positions. Definitely the right wing, right back, left mid, like just because of play style and being able to defend those sides for the crosses. Can't use custom tactics right now because this guy's in here. So if we look at the custom tactics for this team, The way that I have it set up is I have the width to be somewhat like this. So it's not too far wide, but it's not too narrow so that I can't, stretch out the play. Although I might actually make, or this is actually for defense, sorry. So for the defense, the reason why it's on a 5 and I may consider putting it on a 4 is because I'm using a 4-2-3-1, so the formation itself is already very wide. So it's also very helpful in that regard. And this, I actually might increase this because on the attack, the transitioning from okay, so this is the transition with the defense, right? But the attacking transition, having it being wide and having it being narrow also makes a very big difference, right? So I like being narrow so I can block the middle as much as possible, but I also like being wide so that I can exploit the sides a little bit. I have 4 on players in the box because I don't really have players that can win the ball in the air, in all fairness, like Willian. Rashford can possibly win the ball in the air, but not Willian can't really win it, and Vardy's not going to win it that often, so that's why I have players in the box set to 4. But I might even set it to lower because my playstyle isn't really to cross. But there are moments where crossing the ball is the most effective thing to do because that is the meta in this game, right? Like just crossing the ball and just trying to exploit those sides. But yeah, the instructions you guys will see right here is stay back while attacking for the center backs as well as run type being inverted. I set it to inverted because if I have it on mixed attack, sometimes they'll overlap, and I don't want them to overlap, so I kind of have them on inverted. Although I think keeping them on stay back while attacking and staying on mixed attack might be something that's good to try out because so far my fullbacks haven't really been positioned that well, so we're going to see if that makes a difference. Stay back while attacking for the CDMs. For the right mid and left mid, you can see it's only on getting behind. The left mid is also on getting behind. The cam is on stay on the edge of the box and come back in defense. And then the striker is on stay forward. And that seems to be working okay for me so that I can actually have some attack going on here and there. But I might actually experiment with getting in behind with someone like Vardy because he doesn't really make that many runs forward, and it would be helpful. But I like mixed attack with a better work rate because sometimes they'll still play that target man type play style, and then sometimes they'll make those runs. So it's just a matter of work rates. I'd rather have mixed attack and have a better work rate than telling him to get in behind and being very linear in play. Because sometimes I want the striker, to be close to me, and he's not. So just some things to take into consideration. That's the team that I have been using for the EPL team. This is my only team right now. I can make more upgrades to it because I do have coins, but I do make a secondary squad to save up more coins as I win more matches, because that's kind of just how it works in Road to Glories, right? But that is going to be the video for today, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy this squad builder. If you guys did enjoy this video, please drop a thumbs up on it. Definitely helps out the channel a lot. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.